Nerd Files?
Nerd Files. You got to say, this is Nerd Files.
This is Nerd Files, Fluoro-free edition.
Jesus, Jordan, you're making a mess.
Well, there's a lot of schmutz to get off here.
All right, clean machine. Your tank's almost full, you know? Are you paying attention to that?
Nope.
So we got to scrub this thing down because we're about to start final structure. This batch of skis includes a large number of skis for the USA Paranordic team that are back for regrinding in order to help zero them out to be fluoro legal. Here's what we're doing. So this batch includes a lot of skis for the USA Paranordic team, and we need to get those to be able to pass fluoro-free testing. So here's what's going on. Fluoro contamination can come from a couple different places. The surface of the skis, the surface of tools, dust, particulate, anything that is in the environment that includes fluoro can end up on the ski as contamination, and so that's why you're constantly vacuuming. Actually, you do that anyway.
You do.
Jordan likes a clean workshop, but that's especially helpful when we're trying to eliminate fluoro because we don't know what skis are coming in with fluoro. We do know some of them are, like all these competition skis for USA Paranordic. They've been skiing World Cups in a fluoro environment. So we got to zero all that stuff out. We also, before we start final structure, we're cleaning the machine really well to try to get fluoro contamination from the skis out of the machine. Start with fresh grind water, make sure everything's really good. Here's the deal. The wax that gets put into the ski during the process of hot waxing actually goes into the base. As Davida says, it's like a bowl of spaghetti. The base material molecularly is like spaghetti. You put sauce on top and it just sits there. But if you agitate and shake it, the sauce can go into the spaghetti. And that sauce is carrying fluoro. The sauce is the wax. You're picking this up and the agitation is the heat.
There,
yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
Okay, so our bowl of spaghetti here has fluoro in it because we know they've been waxing with fluoro wax. That wax goes into the base, and when we grind, we're removing base material from the surface. What we don't know is how deeply the wax has penetrated the base. If they hotbox the ski with fluoro wax, it could be way deep down in there. If they did a lot of ironing, it can drive it deeper. It all depends on the temperature gradient. So what we're doing is we're trying to take some extra passes flattening the skis, get deep enough into the base that we're getting below a higher percentage of the fluoro material that might be down inside there. The test skis that we ran earlier this year for the USA Paranordic guys, they took them back to Europe to FIS headquarters and have been doing some testing of procedures for cleaning stuff. The good news for us is that our baseline grinding has been sufficient to pass the test. So what we're doing is making a difference. The official word from FIS is that grinding is inconclusive. It's not clear whether it's working. And that's probably because when you're grinding skis, you have decisions to make about how deep into the base you're going to go, and the cleanliness of the operation can have something to do with it. We're specifically going pretty deep on these skis, as I mentioned, to try to get down in there. That's why you're doing the extra flattening passes.
They're also very good at ironing, so
yeah, they're professionals. Yeah. Gary and Tamer there, those guys are doing like a really good job on the skis, so that it's easy to work on the skis. So what do skiers have to do who have not already been in that environment in order to get their skis fluoro legal? First thing is clean all your tools or get new ones. You got to eliminate fluoro contamination, dust, particulate, etc., anything transferable from the tools. Particularly brushes, they hold a lot of stuff. So really clean your brushes or start over. Get fresh, fluoro-free brushes. The skis themselves, obviously you got to wipe down the outside. You know, if you're in a fluoro environment, the surface, the top sheet, the side walls are all going to have fluoro contamination on them, but it's just keeping skis clean. That should be no big deal. If you have been waxing the skis with fluoro and you're not going to get them reground, you have to worry about the surface of the base. The accumulation of fluoro material on the surface, particularly from the powders, liquids. That stuff sits on the surface and is quite tough. To dissolve that and get it off, you need to use a fluoro solvent. The fluoro solvent has fluoro material in it, so you then need to continue to clean. But to break those bonds initially, fluoro solvent will be necessary. Otherwise, grinding, that takes everything off of the surface. The tenacious stuff is the mixed chain fluoro that goes into your HF and LF waxes. That's fluoro material that's been modified to be able to dissolve into paraffin, and that's what carries it deeper into the base. To get that out, you can get a bunch by grinding a little deeper, but you still have wax down in there very likely, and to dilute that, you need to do repeated waxings with fluoro-free wax and an iron. And this is what FIS is recommending, is repetitions of waxing with fluoro-free wax. So if you've already been operating in a fluoro-free environment, ironing fluoro-free wax for a season or two, your skis are probably totally fine. If you have come off of a season of racing with fluoro, you've got that tough surface bond, you've got all the surfaces of the ski, your tools, everything else need more thorough cleaning, and you're going to have to do quite a lot of cycles. Grinding is a great way to get to a good starting point in the base. And the grinding process that we're using, the steps that we're taking to keep everything clean, seem to be meeting the standard. So good work. Keep
Thanks.
cleaning.